I'm Ben.
You're a pain in my ass.
Hell yeah, I am.
It's true. I make fun of you, but it's partially because you enjoy being a pain in the ass so much.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I approve that energy.
It just so happens that on the podcast is when I get to get a little vengeance for you being a pain in the ass.
All right, it's
You're very good at it.
a back and forth. It's a war of attrition, but I forget what that word means, so we're good.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, The Last Jedi. I thought about coming in here and saying I don't think he's actually The Last Jedi, but I think I've made that joke about half of these 13 episodes of Last Jedi. I don't know, they all bleed together now.
Well, isn't Rey supposed to be the last Jedi?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of. I think. Yeah, that's what the movie is saying. Yeah.
Ben, how was your watch?
Terrible. Next question.
Chris, how was your watch?
I'm gonna run with an idea
Oh no.
that if I
Okay.
talk really slowly, I don't have to say that much about this movie. And will still fill the time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Jay, how was your watch?
Well, I watched it in 3 parts. I watched it a little bit on Sunday while I was talking to friends on a call. I watched it some Wednesday night, and I got to Don't Join, and I just turned off the movie. I watch it on Xbox One, so I just hit the home button and closed the app. I was just like, I'm fucking done with this for the night.
That's the
And I
correct
finished it
response.
yesterday. It wasn't a good watch. It's never a good watch. And it's specifically not a good watch because it's so fucking long that I cannot just sit down and watch it in one go anymore. I just can't. I don't have 2.5 hours. I don't have 2.5 hours to watch something. And if I do, I still don't want to spend 2.5 hours on it.
Do you remember near the beginning when Jay used to be like, one of the rules is you can't have any distractions watching the movie, and you
Well, the
have to
reason why
just sit and watch it?
I
Let me
distinctly
finish
remember.
talking slowly.
That's the
This
episode.
is on a
name.
goddamn warpath tonight.
I was thinking about that as Jay ran through her watch.
I am trying to save my sanity with attempts to still do that, but do it in creative ways where I'm also doing something else. I know we talk about Ben's ADHD on the podcast a lot, but this is part of my ADHD. If I'm doing something mindless while mindlessly watching Star Wars, it makes it go through better. Or if I'm talking to people, that's also deeply helpful.
Multiple sittings is also very helpful.
Yes.
Because not so
Sometimes
much
it's the only way this podcast happens.
not so much anymore for me, but like if y'all remember like the earlier rotations when I was still living at my parents' house, like I didn't have 2.5 hours to just sit down and watch a movie. Like,
Yeah.
I watched those movies when I could.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, life is short. We don't have a lot of time in a week. Sometimes you just got to divide it. And that's the way it's got to be. It's better than watching the full thing in one because you have to, and like being in the kitchen doing dishes, because then you're not watching the movie at all.
Or playing
You have
Super
to
Mario while Ben's sitting 10 feet away
Dude,
trying to watch the movie.
I 1,000% will put on something like that. Usually what I'm doing is I'm grinding at legendaries in Pokemon Sword. That's what I usually do because I don't have to think for a second on that. And I've played the first Super Mario 1,000,000 times in my life, so I don't have to think doing that. I do not consider that cheating at all, 1,000%, because I barely have to look at the screen for that. The Switch screen, not the TV screen. I'm watching the TV screen mostly.
I watched it at work today, so
Hey, that's how we do it.
a 2.5-hour movie took me 6 hours to watch.
That's the other reason why I do something while I watch it, because if I pause a bunch, it will take all day to get through this movie.
It's like when you're a kid, like, and you're trying to clean your room, and you're like, yeah, I deserve a break. Yeah, I deserve
Never
another
get
break.
back to that.
Oh, Jesus.
I
hate DJ. I hate DJ so fucking much.
DJ has potential as a character, but he's just a misfire at every single fucking turn. And the fact that he was always going to be a character for this movie and this movie only makes it so much worse.
And like he was so close.
Because he wasn't in the Duel of the Fates script.
You say he wasn't or was?
He was not in the Duel of the Fates script.
Oh, so no matter
So
what,
both
he wasn't gonna be.
Yeah. So both Trevorrow and JJ had no intention of using him.
I was like, why the fuck did Ryan make this guy? Like, he sucks.
Trevorrow was like, because Trevorrow talked way more with Ryan Johnson than JJ did, so it's just very funny to picture them collaboratively working together in a room, and then Ryan pitching DJ and him going, I'm gonna make a mental note to not use this character. That's just, I'm not interested at all. I would rather have Hux kill himself with a lightsaber, which actually is like, I'm willing to bet that Hux committing to putting a lightsaber through his gut was the breaking point for Trevorrow with Disney. I'm willing to bet that that was the thing that he wanted in the movie that Disney was not okay with, that forced him to walk off.
Whoa, hold on.
You don't remember this?
No, I don't remember Hux committing seppuku with a lightsaber.
So, in the Duel of the Fates script, there's this undercurrent where Hux is kind of obsessed with the Force and lightsabers and stuff like that. Like, it's just them going into more detail about Hux's character when they hadn't really gone into a lot of detail with him. And he was able to collect Mace Windu's old lightsaber. That was like the prize of his collection, right? So he's on Coruscant while Finn is leading the rebellion there. While Finn and Rose are leading the rebellion there. And there's a point where the Capitol itself, the Capitol building, is actually a ship. So when everything goes wrong, nobody knows that it's a ship. It starts to take off so that the important people to the First Order can leave. But Rose had already been in the building. She had been tortured. She got out. She managed to destroy the controls so that they would crash land on a separate planet rather than get away. So when Hux realizes this in that script, he commits seppuku. He takes the lightsaber and ignites it through his gut and dies. And I'm willing to bet that was the scene that Trevorrow wanted, that Disney was like, no, you can't fucking do this. Trevorrow was like, then I'm off the project, because this is my one thing. This is my one thing. Yeah, there's like official art of it and everything out there.
Jesus Christ. Imagine being that actor. Like, just having artwork of you just fucking stabbing yourself with a sword through the gut. Like, that's gotta feel weird.
Yeah. I wish we got Duel of the Fates. I'm not saying it would be a great movie, but it was way more interesting.
My problem with the movie we actually watched this week was they could have easily
Shut up.
swapped out.
No.
No,
Stop it.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to say it now.
No, go ahead,
No,
Ben.
I've been bullied out of it.
Go ahead and say it, Ben.
No, I can't.
Ben, say it.
No, I'm losing my freedom of speech.
Ben, this is torture for the fan base. Say what you need to say.
Ben, if you had the option, where would you have put a pod race in this movie?
I would have swapped out the stupid
Chris,
fucking Canto bite part, because they could have easily made that a pod race instead of like horse racing or whatever it is.
Right?
Okay.
Like, why did they put the weird alien horses when they already have an established pod racing circuit?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but seriously, on a similar note that gets us away from pod racing, Why did they show the scene with the guy that was snitching on them on the beach? Because it deflates the entire following scene and adds no stakes to the rest of it because you know the guard are going after them anyway. It would have been much
which
more
scene?
interesting if... So when they arrive on Canto Bight, they park on the beach.
Yeah.
And before you go into the casino, they show a guy snitching on Rose and Finn. I don't understand that scene and how it ended up in this movie that had 1 million scenes cut from it. Because it deflates the sight of the guards coming up on them. That makes it no surprise. It kind of takes the stakes out of it because you know the guards are coming anyway. And it's not like that scene with the snitch guy, who's one of the worst characters in the movie, by the way. I've decided, because snitches get stitches. That guy offers no part of the plot. If it had been an important character snitching on them, it would be one thing. But it's just a random scene that makes you make sure that you can't take in the casino, which visually is interesting because you know that any second there's going to be guards coming in. I just think it defeats the purpose of them having to run from these guards.
I guess that's more or less to words. I guess that's more or less like...
I guess that's more or less to words is very good.
That's more or less them so that the guards doesn't like just come out of absolutely nowhere and people just be like, okay, so like, I don't know, they could have done it better for sure.
I don't know, it just feels unnecessary. It annoyed me. As I watched this in 2 parts, the first scene that I came back to was Holdo and Poe arguing on the bridge. But I'm just going to say it as bluntly as possible this time. Poe was right. Poe was always right in this scenario. Poe was right.
I have a manager at work who's a pain in my fucking ass, and we were talking about this movie. I feel like I told this story on the podcast before, but fuck it, I can't keep track of anything. And I was I forget how we were talking about Star Wars, and he was like, "Yeah, well, Poe shouldn't have like been talking around like that to his superiors." And I'm like, dude, that's like some major authoritarian shit you're saying right now. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, literally, you're saying people under you shouldn't question things.
Yeah. And Holdo, it's difficult because I like the actor so much, but Holdo is so difficult to like. Largely because before she talks to Leia, she has like no redeeming qualities. Like the entire time that she's on the ship, she's keeping information that's showing descent in the order of the ship. While it looks like certain deaths, she's keeping that information to herself for no particular fucking reason.
Yeah.
I think she thinks that there's a spy somewhere on the ship. But I think it's pretty obvious it's not fucking Poe.
I think the point is that the scene where you find out why she's keeping it was cut so that they could leave the Stitch scene in.
Yeah.
Probably. That makes sense, doesn't it? It's just, it's upsetting. It's upsetting because there's so much potential in Holdo, and it's just, I just vehemently disagree with the entire subplot. And it's difficult too because it's a pretty decent section of the movie. It's just the message is kind of shit.
Absolutely. Like it feels like the least rebellion type message that there could be. Like, hey, just trust your superiors.
It's a pretty fascist message for a movie about fighting space Nazis.
It's true.
Yeah, but you also have to think, like, Star Wars is always, to a certain extent, a reflection of, like, the political atmosphere in the States.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And 2017, 2016, it was a messy time.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Huh?
But, like, even more so because of that, it's upsetting. Like,
yeah. Like, of all time,
usually
concessions to things like that.
Yeah,
well, that's when Disney caves.
Yeah. George, I will continue to say, I know people say, well, the prequels are actually good because of the politics, and like, No, I think George had a great idea with the presentation of the politics he wanted to present. I think he's very bad at it in practice, like in actually doing it. Because I think everything he does is so surface level.
Yeah.
But he always wanted to challenge American politics, essentially. That was his goal, was to challenge the Bush administration, the Reagan administration. This feels like something George would have never written, not in a million years. Whereas everything else in the three movies, I could go, okay, George might have done this because George is a silly boy with silly ideas.
George is a silly boy.
Despite all of his failings in writing politics, I don't think he would have ever come up with this idea.
No.
It just does not. It seems counterproductive to a rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's especially funny to think when you go back to Rogue One, where it's done a million times better.
It's true. I don't know.
Ma's kind of horny, though.
Maz is always horny.
Kind
Maz
of is the word.
Maz is big horny.
Maz is very horny. Maz is in the middle of a shootout, and she pauses and, like, caresses her pistol, thinking about a man in a suit with flour on it. She's just like, as if she was no longer in any danger whatsoever.
Goals, though.
Yeah,
It's not a
to a certain
flower.
extent.
It's a red palm bloom. The movie makes sure to tell us that 10 times so that we fucking remember. It's a red palm bloom.
They're like, we're going to say it enough times so you think that maybe this is a plot point that will continue for more than one scene. But surprise, again, it won't.
How cool would it have been if we just had a James Bond character join the cast 3/4 of the way into a movie? Like, and then we got DJ.
I was gonna say anything's better than DJ at this point. I fucking hate that motherfucker. Have I mentioned that yet?
Oh, yeah. That's another thing that upsets me about Holdo, by the way. The way she I got really upset at Holdo calling Finn a stormtrooper for this episode, like really dismissively.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that he kind of fucked over the entire alliance in order to go save the girl last movie, and I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, no, she's probably right to not trust him. That's probably... To be fair, it makes Finn a great character to me, that he was just like, fuck the entire alliance, I'm going to save the girl. My friend, my first friend, my second friend, but after Poe. It's very iconic, but also very untrustworthy.
It's also one of like the few decisions that make sense. Like, he couldn't save Poe. So when something similar to what happened with Poe happens to Rey, he can't be that guy who just abandons the friend again a second time.
Yeah.
And it shows how he grew as a person, because like he left Poe behind because he was still the guy who runs. But Rey he can't leave behind because he's not that guy anymore.
You make a good point, though. That point actually explains to me the original script, because the original script of Force Awakens, Poe died. Like, just straight up died. But they thought that Poe had so much chemistry with Kylo and Finn that they were like, all right, we have to rewrite the script. He needs to live. He needs to be one of the main characters of the series. Now I understand, because of that comparison you made, what happened in the original script and how Poe's death played into Finn's decision to fuck over the Alliance to go to save Rey. Because that is a much more understandable thing when you know that the guy that saved him is dead partially because of him, and he's about to lose another friend. Interesting.
It's one of the few like points in their like character development. We'll put that in quotations, heavy quotations, that I actually thought was well done. And then, of course, it makes you so angry at everything we didn't get further.
Well, and that's what, this movie wasn't bad for character development. Character development's not, like, fantastic in this movie, but it's decent.
Yeah. There is some progression.
It's just sullied by the events that immediately follow this movie. when
This
every
movie is-
single character immediately regresses.
This movie is exceptional at character development, except Finn.
Well, Finn gets the short
Finn
end of the
does-
stick on all of this.
Yeah.
Which all of us acknowledge is fucking insane. Like, just
Like-
terrible.
Again, Rey's development in this movie is fantastic, and Finn's just kind of floating there.
And like I love the character concept of Rey, but I always felt that Finn was probably the most interesting character they introduced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because just the idea of a stormtrooper going through all those years and the training and everything, and then being, not only bold enough to like run away in the middle of a battle, but having the skills to kind of like do those things that can keep you away, which he would not have learned.
I will say this. I think Finn's character might have been better in someone else's hands. Saying Ryan, but there's so much depth there to Finn that I feel like it's almost going to be the jokey haha guy for the rest of the movie because that's how JJ writes a script.
Yeah.
I feel like there's hidden depth there that's lost behind 8 layers of humor.
Is this our once a rotation episode about how Finn deserves justice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you end the last movie on like a bunch of great scenes, including like Finn holding a lightsaber, and then it's like, hello, I've reappeared. Now I'm comic relief. I say, wait, where's the guy with the lightsaber?
The worst part is that kind of continues with Finn. So John Boyega said in an interview recently, he said the way the movie should have gone is that either Finn should have ended as a Force user, as a up and coming Jedi, or Finn should have been like a leader of a rebellion. And one of those two things happens in the Duel of the Fates script. And then halfway happens at the end with Finn and Rose like retiring and becoming Xavier's School for Gifted Force Users. Is kind of what they do. But that's not what we got. And to an extent, it's still upsetting even the Duel of Fate script that we don't get an actual Force user Finn, which was
I will
so
give
clearly
you a third possible ending for Finn, which would have been awesome, but never would have flown in a Disney setup. The third option is, in the end, Finn betrays everyone and joins the bad guys again, and the bad guys win.
Yeah, it was never gonna happen.
But it would be so good.
This is a problem with you specifically, Chris, because you've brought up that you've wanted to. Your ideal version of Last Jedi is everybody dies and we do something different in the next movie. You said this a lot, and it's actually a little upsetting.
Well, come on. Like, if Finn betrays everyone in this movie, then the third movie is about what remains of the rebellion trying to claw their way through and kill their former friend.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not even about winning anymore. It's just about him dying. Such a much better movie. It's like a Hitman movie, but Star Wars.
Like a D&D campaign, but Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
The entire group of people just being like, this one fucking guy. This one fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rebellion's crippled. It'll never resurface. We cannot save this. We cannot crush the First Order. But this fucking guy, we can kill him.
guy.
That's my pitch for rewriting the third movie. It's basically, as much as I hate this movie, anything to not have The Rise of Skywalker.
That's really what it is. It's how can we not make the next movie happen?
Right?
The
Like
problem isn't this movie.
anything to make that next movie not occur.
Nah, you see, real easy though. In the next movie, it's revealed that Finn only betrays everyone because Palpatine mind probed him with the Force.
He was innocent the entire time.
It's all Papa Palps.
Somehow Palpatine has returned through Finn.
Yeah, I wasn't It's always surprising when they make a villain uglier than Palpatine.
And
You know what's already
you know,
aging faster than old milk? The CGI on Snoke's. It already looks bad.
I feel like I saw a Twitter thread yesterday that was film of oh god, I can't think. Benedict Cumberbatch doing Smog behind the scenes. And I saw a bunch of people who work with CGI saying, yeah, sometimes you just let actors go in there and you're not going to use fucking any of it. Because how do you get anything from this guy just turns up on the floor as if he's a dragon?
I also saw a video like that recently. It was probably the same one, actually.
I think with Andy Serkis, you actually can get a lot from his facial expressions, but I'm also kind of a believer from far away because I don't really know the business, but I'm also kind of a believer that you can only do so much when you're working with an actual face in CGI. So I kind of see like the little bit of stretch in Snoke's face sometimes. I really do.
Yeah, like that. Like, oh, that part's not quite moving how it's supposed to.
Yeah. And like we've seen there's already so much better CGI out there, and like this movie's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And the CGI is, why do I keep trying to say CGA? What the fuck?
Does that stand for something? I'm gonna have to Google and see if that stands for something in case.
but yeah, anyways, the CGI, it's so 5 years old and it's already looking like, you know, crayons on construction paper compared to the stuff we have. And I'm really worried how quickly they're gonna have to remaster these. Because, you know, that always goes really well when Star Wars remasters things.
I honestly don't think they're going to be touched now. I think they learned their lesson from Mr. the Lucas, and they're just going to let them stand. Because it was always George. George was the one that insisted on that.
They might clean up the CG in a few years, but I don't think they're going to give it the full Lucas treatment.
I did feel kind of cold and abandoned while I was watching this time, and it struck me like I was outside without a jacket in the snow, and it struck me that I didn't have a presence surrounding me that had been protecting me for a while, and that was Mr. the Ebert. I didn't have Mr. the Ebert protecting me
We are lost.
from the. I'm lost without Mr. the Ebert. So, like someone that's lost, I decided to seek solace in some other form. So this is the SWEWF completely innovative letterbox rating guessing game, entirely original, copyright pending.
Oh boy,
we are back on Letterboxd.
I love this one.
We are back on Letterboxd to look at the reviews of the various Star Wars movies. Do you remember how to play?
Yes, episode 4 is my first guess.
So the way to play is that I'm going to read off a review and a star rating, and our friends here and you at home have to guess which review or which movie the review is about. Obviously, this is on Letterboxd, so it could be from anyone from a famous person to just some rando reviewing the movie.
Okay. I think everyone listening understands what's going on.
I can't. Okay, I appreciate the sarcasm. I apologize. I hear it.
No sarcasm.
I know.
Only slow, deliberate speech to fill time.
Okay. No rating. Can't believe Palpatine has, at some point in time, fucked while Kylo Ren just died a fucking virgin. LeMayo got him.
Oh shit, I kind of screwed myself with yelling episode 4, didn't I?
I'm gonna go episode 1.
Practically standard. Episode 1, okay. Ben?
I said episode 4 already. I gotta stick with it.
It was Rise of Skywalker. It was, of course,
no,
Rise of Skywalker.
Really? The only one where Kylo Ren dies? It couldn't have been that one.
I threw you a softball at the beginning and wild failure across the board.
Well, Ben had committed already, and mine was
I committed
deliberate.
to the bit already.
I'm like,
4-star
it was
review.
too easy.
This is a 4-star review. Star Wars rules, man. Crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emojis. All the highs and lows of what pussy does to a MFer.
This is
This.
this has to be episode 2 or 3.
See, I was gonna say it's either 5 or 8.
5 or 8? Oh, I see. I'm going with episode 3.
I'm gonna say 5.
Well, unfortunately, Ben, Lawrence is completely wrong. It is Revenge of the Sith. You got it right, Ben.
Good job. I want it known that number 3 is not what pussy does to a man, it's what a fucking dick does to a chick.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. It is very, very, very
He is
true.
100% at fault there. How dare you? Padme Amidala would never.
True. 3 stars. Day 2 of accidentally watching a movie where Adam Driver plays the absolute worst guy. The one that strikes me about this is the accidentally part. How do you accidentally watch 2
Marriage
Adam
Story
Driver movies 2 days in a row? You know what? Yeah, I knew one of them was Marriage Story, but the accidentally is what gets me. How do you watch 2 Adam Driver movies 2 days in a row accidentally?
I did the same thing. I didn't know that Marriage Story was an Adam Driver movie when I put it on because only Scarlett Johansson was on the Netflix little promo. So I got tricked. So I will say this is episode, I don't know, number 7.
Ben?
Episode 8.
Ben?
You did a fabulous job of being wrong. Chris is right on this one.
Whenever
It was
Jay
in fact
says
episode
Ben
7.
or like Chris, I know like, yep, they got it wrong.
5 stars. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga tells the story better.
Wow.
I've never seen a take so controversial yet so potentially correct.
Except for the 5 stars part.
Yeah.
That really is the part that throws me. Okay. This kind of shit posting feels like a prequel memer, but I'm also probably wrong because I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. Nobody, listen, as we've learned from the SWEWF completely innovative letterbox rating guessing game, entirely original, copyright pending, the answers don't ever make any fucking sense. It just so happens that we've been on a decent kick in these early ones. So being wrong means nothing.
I'm going to say episode 3.
Okay.
Episode 3 is probably the safest bet, but I'm going to go with episode 5.
Ben, you went into this game with a theory, and that theory was correct. This was A New Hope.
No! I failed. I should have guessed that
Hope.
it would have been a me review, because this is a review I would leave.
Even the people that are like official reviewers, like Patrick Willem, who does a ton of video essays on YouTube, all of his are like shitposts, and they're almost always like featured reviews. It's deeply funny.
That's amazing.
1/2-star review. 2 hours of people running away and having petty workplace disagreements.
Oh. I'm gonna say running away. Gonna say episode 7.
Ben?
I'm not. This is a toughie. I'm gonna say episode 2.
It is, in fact, The Last Jedi.
I'm terrible. I love it.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
It does.
We literally just talked about Aldo and workplace disagreement.
I sat here and I thought about it, and like I just I nodded my head like that does kind of make sense. And I was like, episode 2, fuck it.
Yeah. 4 stars. Full of bitch boys, and I'm very into it.
Full of Bitch Boys.
Episode 2, come
Episode
on.
You're both going with 2?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Doubling down on it.
It is, in fact, not episode 2. It's Return of the Jedi.
You're lying to yourself, Mr. Miss, or individual reviewer.
Yeah.
This individual is a miss.
Well, Miss, you are lying to yourself.
2 stars. Anakin is such a bitch boy, and I hate him.
1. Everyone hates the child.
I'm going with episode 2 again. I'm feeling lucky.
Ben's feeling
God damn
lucky. I regret to inform you that your luck is very correct. It was Attack of the Clones.
Hey.
These 2 reviews, by the way, what I'm going to call the Bitch Boy Saga, were by the same person, both by a woman named Allie. She's reviewing based on level of enjoyment of Bitch Boys.
I approve. Allie, you're doing the Lord's work out there.
I'm imagining a scenario where we interview Allie about her quantifying of bitch boy levels.
I'd like to see her bitch boy scale. I'd very much like to.
I would like to see the bitch boy scale.
I think Allie's just a random reviewer. She might not be. Who knows? I was sorting mostly by most recent in these, but I'm a fan now. 4.5 stars. Who is the R2-D2 and who is the 3PO in your relationship?
Episode 4.
Really? I'm going to say 8.
8 is a good guess, but it is in fact 4. Ben, you got it correct. Chris, in your relationship, are you the R2 or are you the 3PO?
Well, you see, in our relationship, there is no 3PO because no one's proper.
Very good. 4 stars. Kylo Ren is a loser, derogatory, but not in the Anakin Skywalker non-derogatory way.
I'm gonna guess episode 9.
Episode 9.
7.
Chris, what do you think?
7.
7?
Yep.
Well, Chris, unfortunately, I hate to tell you that you are absolutely correct. It is Force Awakens.
Yeah, of course it is. He talks to his grandpa's dead head.
I will never understand.
You mean you don't do that?
No, I'm not keen on taxidermied relatives.
I'm more of a Jason Voorhees. I only talk to my mother's skull, unfortunately. I don't know about grandfather. I will never understand how the same people that find Anakin sexy don't find Kylo sexy, and conversely, how Kylo fans don't find Anakin sexy. Same person. They're just
blondes
the same
versus
person.
brunettes. It's that shallow.
Maybe. You know what? I do have strong feelings about blondes versus brunettes, so I get it. I guess I get it. I really do. My bisexual lean is showing this particular
It's brunettes,
situation. It's brunettes for sure, but also I don't find Adam Driver appealing in any way whatsoever. 2 stars. Not nearly as fun as the Just Dance minigame in Star Wars Connect.
Ooh, that's a high bar.
What?
That's a high bar.
Ben, you perplex me.
I perplex me. My life goal of being an enigma to absolutely everyone I ever meet is being achieved. But
I don't find you to be an enigma. Everything you say makes
I have
sense.
work to do.
Everything you say makes sense. It's just sometimes confusing. So what do we think? What Star Wars movie does not compare to Just Dance?
6.
Oh God. We're gonna go with episode 5.
Winner, chicken dinner, and we're all gonna starve because you're both incorrect. This was Solo.
Do you know what, motherfucker? I thought about it and was like, no, we never do anything outside the main Skywalker series. This isn't we just do the Skywalker saga. And I was like, no, so you wouldn't do that, but you're a little bitch. But also they're wrong. Solo. Here's a controversial take that Chris, am making.
Oh,
Solo was fun.
Chris.
I enjoyed it.
Let's be honest, Jay. If we watched Solo, we would probably enjoy it more than we have any right to, just because it's not a numbered episode of Star Wars.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's good.
I didn't say it was good.
5
I said
stars.
I enjoyed it.
5 stars. This movie. Do I make you horny, baby? Me. Yes. XX.
Gross.
So this raises the question: what is the horniest Star Wars movie?
Ooh.
What
that
is the horniest Star Wars movie?
Episode 1.
Ew. That one was the one that's got babies in it.
I listen. We meet the embodiment of sex appeal halfway through the movie.
This is true, but I would say 2 is hornier than 1.
Okay.
No,
So
wait.
you're going
wait.
with 2 and...
No, I'm not saying it's the horniest. I'm just saying it's hornier than 1. I still
Yeah,
don't
for
say
sure.
it's the horniest.
I think episode 3 is the horniest.
Episode 2 is meant to be the horniest. I'm not saying
But I feel
it
like
is.
episode 3 is
It's just meant to be.
accidentally the horniest.
I would say 6 is
Accidentally the
hornier.
horniest. 6 is hornier.
I don't think 6 is hornier.
6 is definitely hornier.
5 might be very horny, actually. I'm not saying it is or isn't that, but the more I sit here and think about it, 5 is kind of horny for a guy of like 70 trying to make a very uncomfortable relationship with a scumbag named Han. That is meant to be, by Star Wars standards, very horny.
But it's not.
No, it's not.
It's
I'm not saying
meant
it-
to be.
You know what's the horniest of the Star Wars movies? Rogue One.
You are absolutely correct. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. It's not the answer to this question, but you
It
are
is the
correct.
horniest
It's a very
movie.
horny movie.
Ugh,
But I'm
that's the
going with
horniest
episode
Star
3.
Wars. Well, since you've already confirmed it's not Rogue One, I will say it's the Christmas special.
Okay.
Oh God.
Ben, what do you think?
I want to change my guess, but I already said episode 3.
You're going with episode 3?
Uh-huh.
Well, I appreciate the outside of the box think it is, in fact, The Last Jedi.
No, there's nothing horny about this movie. Not a thing. Not a single
Except
moment of
Maz.
this movie is
Maz be
horny.
horny.
Maz be horny,
Except Maz.
but
Maz be horny.
not in a way that makes you on board with it.
Yeah, Maz horny is like, okay.
Maz horny is like when your grandma is telling you about that time she made out with the guy down the hall at the nursing home.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what Maz horny be like.
5 stars. That Captain Kirk movie.
So this raises the question: what is the horniest Star Wars?
Rogue One.
So we're just ignoring the question and we're going back to the horniest Star
Yeah.
Wars.
No, 'cause
Rogue
you
One
said
is the
Captain
horniest Star
Kirk
Wars.
movie. And Captain
Rogue
Kirk
One.
is the horniest Enterprise member, so
Rogue One.
No,
It's Rogue One.
I'm sorry,
It's
that's
Rogue One.
William Riker erasure.
okay, you know what?
It's true. It's very
I'm
true.
mad,
very
but it's
true.
correct.
Yeah, because Kirk was only horny for ladies. Riker did not care.
Yes.
Riker was like,
No,
is
he
it
gave
new?
fucks. He gave a lot of fucks.
He gave all the fucks.
Kirk was in denial of, I choose to believe Kirk was so in denial of his sexuality that he banged every woman he could find while always giving Spock like heavy eyes without ever going farther than that because he could never admit it to himself, but that's just me.
So it's the George Lucas theory. Like, I'm gonna bang all these aliens to deny the fact that I would rather have a dick.
5 stars. The Captain Kirk movie. What is it?
Well, I'm gonna guess it's a newer review of a J.J. Abrams movie because people forget that there were Star Trek before J.J.
Trek.
Abrams.
Which was essentially Star Wars movies.
Yeah. So I will say episode 9.
Episode 9.
So
Ben, what do you think?
my thinking here is, like, think of your typical OG Star Trek movie. This is probably the exact opposite direction I should be going in. But like, think about your typical classic Star Trek movie. Old, well, not old. He was pretty young at the time. But like, white man finds a planet, does some bullshit on it that he's definitely not supposed to, like gambling children, and then like
and doing space
leaves with one of them. That feels like episode 1 feels like a Star Trek plot that takes itself too seriously. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
Ben, I actually really deeply appreciate your thought process on that. The more you talk about it, the more it makes sense, but it's not that. It's Empire Strikes Back.
I refuse.
There's nothing Star Trek about Empire Strikes Back.
I agree, but it is
This person has never seen Star Trek. This person should try again.
Yep. Or they've just seen the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. One or the other.
Make it make sense.
Even if they saw the Abrams Star Trek movies, Empire Strikes Back doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I have this one written down as 3 1/4 stars. I don't know if you can do that on this website. It might be a typo, but let's go with it. 3 1/4 stars. Jabba the Slut.
Jabba the Slut.
5.
This brings up the question: in what movie is Jabba the horniest? And the only I hate everything.
It's only one answer.
I hate everything.
Oh, I'm very happy.
Why have you done this to me? Why have you decided today's the day to break me? 6.
Episode 6. And Chris, you're going with episode 5?
Correct.
Okay. It is, in fact, episode 6. Chris, who definitely just said that Jabba the Hutt is in the movie. Chris specifically just said that Jabba is in episode 5. Chris specifically said that.
Yep.
That is something Chris says and
On the
owns up
record.
to. On the record. Which means I will bother you for the rest of time, Chris, with the fact
I
that
distinctly remember Jabba the Hutt in episode 5, yes.
2 stars.
It was camp, but not nearly gay enough. I will say this movie maintains a high pitch of hilarious awfulness throughout its entire runtime, so I was entertained.
Episode 2.
4.
There is so
Nah.
much.
You know, I
there's
made a
so much queer tension in episode 3. I cannot justify saying it.
You know, this is supposed to be meant for private files, but it somehow leaked into this. This is actually a review of Batman and Robin. Big mistake on my part. I apologize. I don't know how that got in there.
I've been fooled. I have been made a
I don't know how I got in there.
in my own home, in my own boxers. I can't do it.
3 stars. Pod racing is just F1 for nerds.
Episode 1.
Dims me fighting words. Dims me fighting. Episode 1.
We all know it's the Tour de France for nerds.
Yeah. Yep, 1,000%.
Nevertheless, you are in fact correct. It is episode 1.
All right, this is the last of the SWEWF completely innovative letterbox rating guessing game, entirely original, copyright pending. 3.5 stars. After years of choosing not to watch any Star Wars movies, I gave in today for a boy. That is so unfeminist of me.
This sounds like an alternate timeline where I somehow get ejected from this show. And like years down the line, I'm just like, oh, you wanna watch Star Wars? Star Wars?
7.
What do you think, Ben?
Hate this. I think it's how many stars again?
3.5.
3.5. That's the crucial detail. It is episode 6.
Episode 6 and episode 7. So close yet so far away, and by so close I mean both of you are very close to each other, but very far away because it was episode 1. It was episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So that was the SWEWF completely innovative letterbox rating guessing game, entirely original, copyright pending. Thank you for sheltering us from the cold.
Needs a shorter title.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's...
No, I mean, it's completely original. It's a game that we use Letterboxd for, and the copyright is pending. It's everything you need. It's absolutely everything you need. Obviously, completely original. No one else has done it. Nobody.
Doubt.
Nah, there's no way. I foresee no one
No,
else.
nobody else has done it.
Idea.
I've done a brief Google check of the exact name of the bit. No, nobody done it.
No one has used that title word for word. Therefore, it's our own idea.
Nope. It's our own idea. We came up with it.
Of course. How could I ever doubt you? I hang my head in shame.
It's like how Drew Carey absolutely came up with the idea of Whose Line Is It Anyway. We did the same thing. We absolutely came up with this game.
Oh, maybe because I'm old, but that hurt my feelings.
That was the point. That's why I said that. That's why I said that.
To hurt my feelings? That was the point?
No, to lie. To lie.
Wait, what?
To specifically lie.
Wait, Jay, are you telling me this isn't an original bit?
No, it's an original bit. I just like lying.
In the comfort of my own home? In my own
In your own
boxers?
Well, with 2 mentions of Ben's boxers, I feel like that's a good time to walk off into the sunset. Now, protected by the warmth of Letterboxd, specifically Allie, as she tells us about the bitch boy, the bitch boy meter. I'd really like to
Allie, if you're out there, hit us up. We'll put you on the show.
Hit us up. We'll put you on the show. I want to hear everything about the bitch boy rating system.
I would love to do a whole cycle where we rate on the bitch boy scale.
I also would like to do a whole cycle where we rate on the bitch boy scale. But unfortunately, that's not now, and it may never be, for we don't know, and we seriously doubt that Allie will ever find us, but we wish so. This has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. We love you all so much. Good night.
Jay, you, the way your outro went, I just heard, in the warmth of, and my brain filled in the blank of, Ben's box.
In the warmth of Ben's boxers.
If you enjoyed that episode, why not like and subscribe? Also, share it with a couple friends. Bring them into this hellscape that we've done to ourselves. You can catch brand new episodes every single Wednesday on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, pretty much every other platform you get your podcasts on. If you'd like to extend the suffering, you can catch us over on twitter.com at SWEWF. We post direct links to brand new episodes every week as soon as we upload them, and you can catch the occasional other dumb Star Wars take, and who wouldn't want that? Catch you guys later.